Welcome to St. Paul, Minnesota. We're headed to St. Paul Union Depot for train days. The rail fans' biggest day of the year. Plenty of parking on this lovely day under the bridge. Alcoa Unit 261 is stoked and accepting spectators. There's plenty of extra power units here today, but one power unit you won't see is Amtrak. Because due to flooding out west, the Empire Builder will not be making its stop here today in the morning. The buses will be making all their normal stops. Getting around the food trucks, we'll head upstairs to the concourse. Past the Airport Express and Jefferson Lines buses where they can wait and lay over, and we'll check out what's going on. Nicely vacant area around the really cool model of the building. This kind of shows off everything they had in their minds when they went forward with the project to rehabilitate the depot. It was still worth it even if we didn't get to all this cool stuff. Speaking of cool stuff, here's basically what amounts to a big convention for all foamers. This is the passenger concourse of Union Depot. This is some information about the train to Duluth. These model trains always hang out here. It's a really cool space whether you're waiting for a bus or a train. Down here closer to the Amtrak gates, under the lights, we've got a lot of model railroad setups. This one's provided by Cool Train Guys. And down on the platform, here's where everything's going on. These Milwaukee road cars can often be seen parked in the Twin Cities, but they make their way out behind a lot of Amtrak trains. Private varnish that you can hire for a price. Today we get to look inside for free. Just like we get this nice look at a freshly painted Kansas City Southern unit, which is right next to its Canadian Pacific sister. And a food truck for good measure. This E9 unit would look better hooked up to its matching cars, but it's a welcome sight here anyway. And headed down the platform, we'll make our way past this old baggage car, which has been converted for a snack car that's often used on the Christmas time North Pole Express that departs from here. This is its departure from the other side of the calendar, in which it doesn't really go anywhere other than from storage to here, but everyone's glad to see it today. This is Caritas, a private varnish car that will be making up the end of the cars we're walking through today. No line, so I'll head right inside. And it's a pretty typical passenger train passageway, except for this little kitchenette. Modern appliances, plenty of cookware, although one wonders how many people they could actually make meals for in here. Maybe it's just more of a snack bar type application. In any case, pretty convenient for you, with a lot of fridge space. And back down the passageway, which leads by the bedrooms. Your standard passenger car bedrooms, but of an older variety. Here we see everything that was put into this unit to keep it running under normal head-end power. And down the carpeted hallway we go. We have another fridge for more food, and one of the finest signs I've ever seen. This is your end-of-car shower, just like you'd find in a modern passenger train car. And that makes up Caritas. Now we're headed into the snack car. It's a pretty standard vestibule. Not much of a departure from what we see nowadays, just older. But man, inside here, hardwood, oriental rugs, Plenty of airflow and a lot of stuff for sale. Posters, snacks, books, of course bottled water. Really classy merchandise here. I could have spent my whole savings. And of course, the cool lighting that everyone's bedroom has. Why not have it in a train car too? Staff here was all really friendly, just having a generally good time. Pretty reasonable prices on everything too. And at the end of the snack bar, you can check out some information on the people that help keep this train going every year. And you can hang your head out the side and take a look at the Mississippi River here in St. Paul. But now here's what we really came for. The Cedar Rapids Superdome. I have seen this car so many times parked around the cities. I did not think I was going to wake up today and just be in it. This was a really surreal experience. You can see how parts of this did get into modern observation cars, but the whole experience of being in one of the originals is just fantastic. Everyone was really nice, having a good time. The staff were very friendly. Those seats are beyond comfortable. Even this Norfolk Southern bar stool was just great. Just one of the finest places in the world to be looking out at everything. Our time in the dome came to an end, and we headed out the other side. For once, I was glad a line moved really slow, because I wanted every second I could get inside of here. And a little further down the platform here, we have this Great Northern Yard Power Unit. It's very nicely painted, washed. Not getting a whole lot of attention right now. I think there must be another locomotive a little further down the platform that everyone's here to see. So this is not the biggest steam locomotive in the world, but it's the one that calls the Twin Cities its home. Alcoa 261. This one sees most of its duty as the train that takes the kids to the North Pole on the North Pole Express. It is an absolutely wonderfully preserved unit. It makes its way across the country now and then on tours, mostly pulling the Great Northern coaches that we already went through. It has been just completely gone over and is a striking unit. Standing right in front of this locomotive today was just absolutely surreally amazing. Seeing all the inner workings, the steam coming off of it, the water pouring out the bottom, just the shine on all of the iron. Just an absolutely fantastic piece of machinery. Hopefully it can stay around for many years to come. Now back into the concourse, we're going to go on up to the train show. This is the top of the exit from the concourse, or where you might be staged for a sleeper car on Amtrak. And this is where it meets the end of the concourse, window to brick. Just inside of the concourse, we can see it's filled up a little bit more. The train show is in full swing now. Lots of toys and t-shirts, representing every railroad and every marketing attempt. Every railroad line is represented on a coaster. You can get absolutely clever shirts. You can get hats from every obscure route. You can get blankets in plastic bags for your protection. Every vessel for coffee. Yes, only the finest gifts for the whole family. If you ever wonder where to get this stuff, well, just go to Train Days. This inside of the concourse has been refinished, and it all happened about 10 years ago. Before that, post office just had a lot of equipment stored in here. It's actually not tremendously different from those days, but it has been really shined up and just looks great. There's even people up in the old bowling alley upstairs. Normally this would just be where you wait for the bus, but today there's a whole lot more to do and see. A whole lot of folks to talk about anything railroad. And it wouldn't be a train show without the rail advocates setting up. We can see all the proposed lines, and these are the ones that are most likely to get attention in the next decade, I would say. The second train to Chicago is going to be a big help, though. We don't really have consistent service to Chicago at the moment. It's a guessing game as to when the train will arrive. Or it won't come at all, like today. And the front of the head house looking strikingly neoclassical, as always. No wider facade in all of town to catch a train from. Speaking of, if you need a light rail train, it's right in front of the building. These will only go to downtown Minneapolis. If you need to go to the airport, you gotta go down to get the 54 bus. And just through the head house and back into the passenger concourse, we'll make our way down to the ticketing area as it's starting to get pretty crowded in here, and there's buses to be caught. Down the escalator, we'll find our way to the ticketing and baggage area. If you get off an Amtrak train, this is pretty much where you proceed to get picked up by your ride or go collect your bags. They take about 30 minutes to get off the train, even though they only have to go about a 1/16 of a mile. But this is where you can go if you need tickets, or directions, or anything else as you finish your train journey. Which will mark the end of our journey today. And we'll speed past the Jefferson lines, the parking garage access, the Amtrak desk, always helpful, the baggage claim, and the Hertz rental car agency. Thanks for coming along today. We'll see you on the next trip.